All right, hello and welcome. You're with us here on Business Today. And of course, this morning we're watching out for a whole host of action on the markets. We're seeing continued reactions to, of course, what's happening in terms of geopolitics, as well as, of course, the Fed overnight and its commentary. Nifty in the pre-open seems to be looking all right. We are seeing some amount of a pre-budget build-up, it clearly seems like. So we have started to see a bit of green on the screens this week. And, of course, counting down to the budget on Friday. So 2 more days of trade before we hit Sunday, where we'll actually see the announcement of the budget. Let's take a look at bullion, because I think that's the big news. Continues at this point with huge moves and record-breaking rallies on both gold and silver. So let's pull that up for you in just a moment. And that's really where a lot of the action continues. We've also got Shailendra Bhatnagar joining us as well. So we'll just get Shail in a moment and also get a take on really what the setup's looking like today and what we can anticipate from the markets on opening. Just a few minutes to go, or about 10 minutes to go. Shail, good morning.
Good morning, Aabha. 4 lakh rupees on silver, 17,380 is the gain for today. And you have gold at 1,73,700 per tola, up 7783. So it's a golden and silver start to the day. And therefore, we will continue our emphasis on metal stocks. We will keep them on our radar, in particular Hindustan Zinc. More importantly, we'll keep an eye out on the entire CPSE index, the PSE index and the PSU banking index, because that is where the action is on the long side. Pre-budget run-ups are happening very smartly. The CPE index yesterday surged 5%. That's a fresh breakout happening. Look at Coal India, look at BEL, Oil India, ONGC, all of them on a tier, and that's what I am focusing on, Aabha.
Gold and silver, it's really just all about that. I don't think anyone thought when they'd wake up this morning they'd see gold at past 9,000 and silver also at the kind of levels that we're seeing, almost 4 lakhs now on silver. So it's quite phenomenal. All right, so that's the bullion news this morning. Continuing to watch metals in the light of that. Did you say oil, Shail? And what's happening on the oil front?
No, I'm just saying that some very smart traders are targeting $140 an ounce on silver. We are already at 120, 122, and there is a massive, how should I say, scramble, that's the word, to get into the trade on the long side. Therefore, a lot of people are selling their precious equity to get into silver and gold. This is very dangerous at current levels. For those who are in, they should be there, but please consult your financial advisor and technical advisor before you make fresh positions into gold and silver. Aabha, to you.
All right, let's take a look at some of the stocks in news as well. And what else we'll be eyeing today. The Fed commentary, we haven't touched upon that, so let's take a look. Rates unchanged. And remember, this is after a lot of pressure from President Trump to kind of get the Fed to cut rates, but unchanged, saying that growth looks good, but inflation still a little on the higher side. So they're just kind of holding fort. That's what they've really said. And they voted about 10-2 to keep it currently unchanged. And mostly the Fed decision seems to be in line at this point of time. We've got some brokerages saying perhaps they'll start to see a larger cut in calendar year 26 going forward at this point of time. Meanwhile, talking about U.S. news, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent criticized European countries following the conclusion of the India-EU FTA, which ended negotiations that actually had kickstarted 2 decades ago. So that's the news coming in from the U.S. And Asia this morning, China has adjusted its tech stance by approving some major firms to purchase over 400 1,000 NVIDIA H200 AI chips. And that's Beijing's attempt to balance domestic chip development with rising AI demand. So that's the current geopolitical status there. Markets seem to be on an uptick shell, even though now in the pre-open it's moderate. We started off with a 0.5% uptick. It's kind of now flat. The Fed commentary is pretty much in line, so we may not see too much of a reaction coming in on that. We've talked about really what they're anticipating going ahead as well. But in terms of earnings and so forth as well, I'm just trying to look up if there's any major cues that the markets will be watching out for today, or do you feel we might see a mildly sustained pre-budget rally?
I think there is a pre-budget rally happening in the PSU space, and that is where the attention is. You see, traders are very, very smart. They are only following momentum on the long side in sectors which is there. So the defense space, PSU banks, metals, the CPSE space, the likes of NTPC, Coal India, ONGC, oil, these are beaten down sectors. There is absolutely zero actually negative movement across the space in equities minus the PSU basket, because all that money is moving into gold and silver. So that's it. I mean, you can be happy with it, you can be sad with it, but that's the reality, that there is a bull market in metals and precious metals, PSUs, and the rest of us are just sitting quiet and hoping for this dark nightmare to end.
All right, the Rupee seems to have opened at at a new low. Let's just take a look. We've got, and I think Gaurang's also joining us. Rupees open at a record low of 91.99 to the dollar versus Wednesday's close of 91.78. So that's on the currency. Continue to look bleak over there. Gaurang, good morning. How is it looking to you just ahead of budget, 2-3 days? Fed commentary also pretty much in line. I mean, they're talking about improving conditions, but not ruling out uncertainty.
Thank you so much, Aabha, for having me on your show this morning. Good morning to you and to my good friend Shell and all the viewers of BTTV. A small disclosure, all recommendations that I'll be sharing with you this morning are part of our fundamental research team recommendations from a long-term point of view. Our company, Geojit or myself, we do not have any kind of personal investment, no financial interest, no conflict of interest, but we give advice to our clients on similar lines. They might have their investment interest. So, I think, Aabha, look, irrespective of what President Trump has to advise the Fed chair or give an authoritative stand to the Fed chair, I would rather go with the second one than the first one. I think Mr. Powell has the wisdom and fine sense of judgment to do what he thinks is right, and I think he's done that absolutely in line with expectation. So I'm not surprised with this decision of a pause or a standstill or a wait out with respect to the decision on the rate front by US Fed chair. As far as our markets are concerned, I think yes, there is going to be a lot of excitement by the time we hit 1st of Feb, that is Sunday, and it is working as normal because of the budget. Markets are also open. You and me, along with my good friend Shell, everybody will be working throughout Sunday till possibly late afternoon. And on the market front, I think whatever has happened post the announcement of India-EU FTA, there is some smooth sentiments that is there in the market. There is also a lot of news flows, Aabha, that other countries are also now willing to step forward and have these kind of arrangements with India, given the kind of uncertainty and flip-flop by the US president as far as trade-related policies are concerned. So I expect the market to stabilize. Let's hope that there is a little bit of more positivity on 1st of Feb when the Honorable Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharamanji announces the budget.
Yeah. Okay, so that's...
Very good morning to you, Gaurang, and...
yes, go ahead, Shel.
A very good morning to you, Gaurang, and a very warm welcome. Anything your research team has thrown up when it comes to good quality stocks post the third quarter earnings? What looks good in corporate India, minus metals, minus PSUs?
So I think whatever we've seen in terms of result up till now, we've been positive on Indian Bank. Union Bank is something that we are again, it's a new coverage shell amongst small stroke mid-size PSU banks. We have, TVS Motors just came out yesterday, a stellar set of numbers. We saw Maruti also with the numbers. We saw IT companies. I think most of the frontline names that we cover have delivered their third quarter numbers. We've been maintaining our positive stance on the IT as well. But one stock that did phenomenally well yesterday, which we've also discussed a number of times, is a defense company, BEL, Bharat Electronics Limited. I think that's a strong number, and I think the trajectory for the future earnings is also very clear and laid out. I think this one could be a stark outperformer in terms of earnings getting delivered better than expected and order book.
Okay, that's on BEL. I think we're also looking at L&T a little bit, Gaurang, just on earnings and commentary. Since I know that's a stock that comes up often, just getting your take on it as well, in terms of anything new that you're finding. Net profit was down a touch, just a one-time cost coming in there. Otherwise, revenue seemed to be intact, and order flows also up, and in fact beating expectations somewhat.
So I would go to the length of saying, Aabha, that this is one stock which is a must amongst some of the few stocks if you have a portfolio in the equity market. And unless you are in need of money, you should not sell this particular stock. And if that is the case, just hand it over to the next generation as a gift. You know, the kind of wealth creation that L&T has done over the years, I think it's almost 75, 80-year-old company established in India. Diversified business verticals, and in all the business verticals, Aabha, they have a very strong order book. In terms of credibility of company management, earnings visibility, I think there is no doubt or a smallest of question mark. And according to me, this is my personal view, Aabha, that it is one of the most investor-friendly companies. As and when the management decides to give out bonuses, whether it is 1:1 for, or whether it is for one share for every 2 shares held, the price becomes X bonus, and then within 2 or 3 years it again come back to become bonus. So that's the kind of wealth creation that L&T does, other than of course giving out dividends, etc., etc. So like I mentioned, it is a must in your portfolio.
Okay, markets open down about 0.3% today, and the Nifty Bank also down a little bit right now. We've got a little bit of red on the screen actually. We saw some traction in pre-open, but IT is also down about 0.5%. Autos down 0.5%. So we actually got some pressure coming in on opening this morning. Gains in L&T on the back of numbers. Hindalco from a metals pack. Power Grid is up today about 1% or so. Sun Pharma, NTPC, ONGC. It's a little bit of a mixed bag. Let's focus on the losers. We've got Kotak Mahindra Bajaj Finance, a little bit on the financials, Tech Mahindra from the IT pack, Dr. Reddy's, Infi, ICICI Bank. So banks, IT, pharma majors clearly on the downside today. And it's not like a massive sell-off, but definitely early morning pressure on the index for sure at this point. So it's unclear really how the markets are reading this because we were anticipating a little bit of an up move ahead of budget, and we have seen that positive momentum. It's still early. Markets have been volatile, so sometimes they swing back into the green, and they're already recovering. So now it's about 0.2% lower at this point of time. But Shell, you want to take a hack at really what's happening here?
Well, Aabha, we've had a modest start. And you have the Nifty flat 60 points. I won't be much worried about it because the focus is entirely on the metals space. Nifty metals index is flying 1.1% higher for you. And when you look at the fresh highs in the market, it's Hind Copper 7% higher, MCX 2.4% higher, Jindal Steel, National Aluminium, Muthoot Finance, Hindalco, Vedant, JSW Steel, Tata Steel, APL Apollo. All of them are from the metals pack. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if you are focusing on the long side, it has to be metals, nothing else. Let's look at what else is buzzing in terms of top gainers apart from metals. You have L&T 3% higher, Hindalco, ONGC throwing very strong, Power Grid, NTPC and Bajaj Auto. So that's the state of play. The rest of the market is quite advanced. Decline is 1.5:1. So nothing to talk about. Just be very careful on the long side in CPSE, PSE, PSU, banks and metals. Be very, very careful. Aabha.
Okay, I think we've got a Gland Pharma that's up about 8%. That's an earnings reaction coming in. We've got, that's one. L&T, of course, you've already marked. Quite a bit of pressure on auto. Maruti's down about 2.5% right now. So that's a little bit of a build-up. I think, we've been tracking auto on the back of the FTA and the reactions there. I'm just trying to see what the latest is on that front. Then you have a G, Vernova, and a T&D that's up 7%. I think that's earnings as well coming in. I'm just trying to track some of the other movers for you. L&T is looking really good. So that one, just keep an eye on in terms of the heavyweights. And yes, India has reserved the right to restrict the gains from lower import tariffs and quotas for European automobiles. They've offered under its FTA with the EU, which was finalized on Tuesday, for 8 EU native automakers. So this is a little ongoing right now, and we're seeing auto reacting to that. But that's on earnings. Gaurang, let me just get your take on opening in terms of the mood of the market, any key earnings that you're tracking. See, from the broader markets, you've got some action. I think like a Somani Ceramics or a G Vernova or a Gland Pharma. But it's very, very stock specific at the moment.
So I think it's all because of the earnings, and of course on the auto pack that you were just mentioning, I think it has more to do with the kind of numbers that were reported by Maruti yesterday, and of course a little bit of overhang. Of course, it's a long shot, Aabha, that the India-EU FTA would translate into a lot of downward revision in terms of price tags for some of the cars that come into India from EU. But it's a long shot, of course. And yesterday there was one article. I'm not sure how far it is truth is there or not, but it seems South Africa, which used to have a 25% tariff on Indian cars that get exported from India to South Africa, has decided to increase that tariff to 50%. And Maruti has a decent market share as far as exports are concerned to South Africa. I think that could be one of the reasons. Of course, there is no clarity on this particular news item. But nevertheless, I mean, having said that, we still remain positive on Maruti on the fundamental side from a long-term point of view. And Gland Pharma, you mentioned, our fundamental team has a positive coverage on Gland Pharma. And my sense is that some of the mid-cap pharma names, along with healthcare, Aabha hospitals, should report a decent set of numbers.
Okay, great. Look at silver. We've got silver up 4 lakhs, up now beyond 4 lakhs. That's, I just can't help. It's 80,304. That's 4.5% higher. Gold is at 9585. I think the whole office, Gaurang, is just watching that screen, and silver at crossing that 4 lakh mark. It's just we're all just staring. We're all just staring at the screens. What do you make of it?
Is that for me, Aabha?
Yes.
Well, honestly, Aabha, I think it's now a case of a gut. If somebody has the courage or gut to go short, and the way people have been trapped in the last maybe about 2 to 3 months, they have not been able to cover up the position. And if they're able to cover up, if they've gone short, Aabha, then the losses are phenomenally on the higher side, given the kind of moves that have been seen. And I have always advised, Aabha, I think I discussed this with Shell and your colleague some time back, Sakshi Batra, that if you want to invest into stock market, or if you want to have an investment portfolio, then diversify it. And maybe, for example, if you have 100 rupees to invest, at least 15 to 20 rupees should be invested in gold and silver related asset classes. Unfortunately, we do not have any product in India with respect to platinum, because in gold and silver you have gold ETFs, silver ETFs, you have gold and silver mutual funds, but when it comes to platinum, you don't have that. Platinum has also given a phenomenal return, not like what silver and gold has done, but maybe they'll do a catch up. So my sense is that it's a good diversification strategy in terms of your risk getting diversified. So I mean, I'm not saying that put all your money at one time. Given this kind of run up, Aabha, I am 100% sure, and all of us know that if there is going to be some price correction, then that also is going to be equally sharp and equally deep. But what I have read, and I don't know how far those reports are true, all dips are going to be buying opportunity rather than going short.
Let's look at the rally that's taking place in the PSU setup, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to mark RECL 382 for the last 4 or 5 hours, which is all of yesterday and a bit of Tuesday. You've seen the stock appreciate from 360 to 382. There's a bit of a pause in BEL. There was a stellar set of numbers that came in yesterday. The counter rose 10%, but a bit of a pause now. Let's see what happens. But breakouts happening on Hindustan Aeronautics, as also on the Nifty PSU Banking Index, 9133 for you. Look at Canara Bank, look at Bank of Baroda, look at the strength that's coming into PNB, and in particular Indian Bank. That's the trade, ladies and gentlemen, on the long side. Pre-budget, PSUs beaten down and waiting for lots of effort coming in from Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Aabha.
Okay, I just want to bring up the IMF report as well. Let's just take a look at that, because latest commentary coming in from IMF saying that strengthening innovation can boost India productivity growth by 40%. 40% is what they're looking at. They're talking about business growth, innovation that can boost India's productivity. So we'll just take you through some of that IMF commentary as well coming in. All right, Gaurang, in terms of other stocks, and especially ahead of budget, are you keeping an eye on, I know you already mentioned defense, but are you keeping an eye on rail or agri or any other such pocket of the market? Or are you looking more at what they might do on taxation and any other kind of tax? Like, what's your attention going to be on?
That's always a wish list, right? Prabha, long-term, short-term, STT, individual tax, corporate tax. But my sense is that, look, we should leave it to the wisdom and fine sense of judgment of the Honorable Finance Minister. I think whatever needs to be done, appropriate will be done. But in terms of, not only with respect to budget, Aabha, but a little bit longish, because budget comes every year. There are a lot of hopes, expectation, wish list. Some gets delivered, most of them don't get delivered. So I have kind of left it out in terms of expectation from budget. But yes, I think defense, capital goods engineering, my sense, Aabha, is that power sector, I think you should see some amount of reforms being focused on power sector, and giving that additional push to the consumption side. Look, the thing right now, Aabha, is that no businessman or entrepreneur would want to invest in any kind of capex, additional capex, because the existing capex is still underutilized. Once you reach that utilization level with the demand push, then only the private capex is going to come in. The government will do its best in terms of infra creation, job creation, getting rid of policies which are redundant, bringing in new to invite foreign direct investment, which is long-term dollars coming into India. So I think these are some of the priorities, and the top of the thing will be fiscal prudence and discipline. I think that's always been on the top priority, and I think this time also Honorable Finance Minister will walk the talk as far as fiscal discipline is concerned.
$9.27, ladies and gentlemen. We've had the first 5, 7, 10 minutes of trade. Clearly, the focus is on the pre-budget rally that's now taking deep roots as far as markets are concerned. Let me just show you the picture in terms of how the broader market is structured at this point of time. You have the top gainer, the Nifty Metals Index. There's no discussion there. Aabha has been pointing out 4,000 rupees per kilo as far as silver is concerned. Nifty Energy Index going 1% higher. PSU Banking Index 0.5% higher. Small cap 100 mid cap, and mid cap select in gains. Advanced decline has eased a bit. That's a bit of an issue because we don't seem to be happening the rally broadening out, but it's just narrowing within the metal space. New highs, Tata Steel, JSW Steel, and one stock that needs Gaurang's attention is Shriram Finance. A change in management, a Japanese giant coming in with deep pockets of very cheap finance. Gaurang, a view on Shriram Finance at this point of time? 1024. This is already a 5-for-1 split, so the price actually is 5100.
Well, Shell, 400 is the level that we've been tracking, or maybe lower than that fundamentally, and we still have a positive coverage. I can only tell you an approximate target price, which is very conservative from the fundamental point of view. It's about 1250, but I'm sure with the kind of statement you made, deep pockets coming in, and the commentary by Shriram Finance management yesterday in terms of utilization of those funds which have come on the balance sheet and penetrating deeper into the geographies and having a larger market share, along with, of course, reduction in cost of funds. So, definitely you have an upper hand. If you have your investment, hold on to it. If you don't have it, despite of this rally from the levels that we've seen about 3-6 months back to the current price where the stock is trading, I think it's still an investable stock from a long-term point of view.
Okay, so that's on Shriram Finance. Just taking a look at some of the other movers. We've got a Tejas Networks, a Schneider Electric, seeing a bit of a trend there in some of those broader market moves today. BEML is up about 9-10%. CG Power is up 9-10%. ONGC is looking good. Let's actually pull up ONGC on our screens for a second. Just want to see how that's doing. Okay, up at 1% right now. Gland Pharma, Hindustan Copper, we touched upon some of those as well. So these are some of the names in the broader markets that are just seeing some amount of action coming in today. Muthoot Finance clearly on gold. Metals, of course. MCX is up 3%. Jindal Steel is up 3%. Nalco is up 3%. So, clear trend coming in there on the metals pack. There's really not, we've only been talking about this, Gaurang, for the last few weeks now. Shell and I, we try and go everywhere else and we come back because that's really the only story right now. A little bit of a move in oil and gas. Petronet's up 2% today. Mahanagar Gas is up. And like I said, names like Indus Tower, for instance, or, a handful of these power gen distribution counters are also seeing some amount of move today. But we come back to metals, come back to a Muthoot, for instance, specifically on gold. And this is really the pocket of the market that's looking exciting. Gaurang, just to maybe, talk about something other than metals for a moment. Are you also tracking? Shell touched upon PSUs earlier. But within the PSUs, what do you feel could be in the news? I mean, is it again just the defense names? Would we look at anything else? We've got the budget coming up. I know even on the banks, it's been a little up and down. It's not been like a clear-cut move. And it's not been sustained. So I'm not even sure if there's enough conviction in the move there.
So banks, Aabha, look, I mean, there has been a decent amount of catch-up from the public sector banks when you compare to the performance of private sector bank. And that catch-up is purely because of the kind of discipline that has come onto the balance sheet with respect to continuous downtake in gross and net NPA, write-backs in form of provisions that were provided earlier because of bad loans. Recovery process has picked up steam. Net interest income and margins have contributed to the bottom line, and of course, cost of borrowing and cost of lending. All these parameters have actually, it's all right ticks in all the boxes that I've just mentioned, and that's primarily the reason why I've seen public sector banks doing a catch up with private sector banks. Whatever numbers we have seen in terms of third quarter of public sector banks, I think they have been better than what the street estimates were. They were better than what our estimates were. So amongst the names, and I'm quite sure, Aabha, that there will be a lot of focus on public sector banks now because of the recovery in earnings and the catch up that is yet to be seen between both public sector and private sector. So we like State Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, Bank of India, Canara Bank, PNB, Indian Bank, which is one of the mid-cap banks, has been a stellar performer in the PSU bank category. And of course, Union Bank that I discussed at the opening of the show. So my sense is that, and the entire BFSI segment, Aabha, looks very, very attractive. And I would go to the extent of saying that like L&D, it was a must in your portfolio. I think if you have your investment in stock market and if you have a portfolio, then a dedicated portion of that has to be towards the entire BFSI segment, which includes private sector bank, public sector banks, and strong NBFCs.
Let me just focus on the volume busters that there are in the market, focusing on what Gaurang likes best. L&T, 3.5% higher, and already 42% of 5-day average is traded. BEL, profit booking 2% lower. Hindalco, Aabha, Hindalco is up 10x. That's 1,000% rally in 10 years. It's impossible to match this kind of a move, and this is of a commodity stock. So you can well imagine the kind of currency debasement that's happening. Plus, the Indian market, metal market, is ringed by the government in terms of preventing anti-dumping into the country. So that's a big plus coming in. You have Maruti down 2.7%, heavy volumes. We've discussed the reason. And of course, you have a strong move coming into Coal India as well as the entire auto pack. Bajaj Auto doing well, 1% higher, 9520. What are you watching?
Okay, let me thank Gaurang as well for joining us on the show today. Gaurang, good to have you with us as always. Look forward to discussing all the budget madness next week. We've also got our next guest joining us. Kiran Jani is with us on the show. And it seems like also some news coming in on tariffs on cars priced between 15,000 to 35,000 euros. Tariffs are to be cut to 35%. That's the news coming in. Cars priced over 35,000 euros to be taxed at 30%. Officials say that India to immediately slash tariffs on 100,000 European cars a year to 30 to 35% from as high as 110%. Senior an official is also saying that the tariff will be cut to 10% over 5 years, and annual car import quota will be raised to 160,000 over 10 years. The official says that India will be levying the same import tax cut on EV models priced over 20,000 euros after 5 years. All right, that's big news coming in there on the tariff front. And given that, there's been a little bit of uncertainty on the auto names on the back of all these changes in tariffs post the EU FTA deal, this is, some amount of a salvage where the tariff, will, of course, for EU cars will be cut to a certain extent, and India will immediately slash tariffs on 100,000 European cars a year. Actually, I think for the auto index, it's a little bit more of a concern, isn't it, Shell?
Yes, Aabha, but we've had a 5-year rally on the auto space, in particular a very sharp run up in Mahindra and Mahindra, which is the best performing auto stock actually the best performing Nifty stock for the last 5 years. So a bit of profit booking coming in. Maruti was at 9,000 rupees on 15th of August. It's at 16,000 rupees. So these are pullbacks that are happening for reasons best attributed to the government. But the GST cut is going to be beneficial in the longer run. These are all buy on dips. Please also consult your financial advisor. Aabha.
Okay, Kiran, how's the market mood looking to you this morning?
Very good morning, everyone. So overall, if you look at the market, the short term, definitely we are at bottom, or we can say we created a bottom. No doubt from the morning, market is trading into the lower high, lower bottom time frame pattern. But overall, if you look at the daily price at 25,000, it's become a psychology support, as well as ahead of budget. You can see the weekly expiry and even monthly expiry. Maximum put writers are holding 25,000 or maybe 24,800. So any dips towards those particular 200 points, it is a accumulation zone for short. And now coming to the current market price, if you look at there is a falling trend line or a falling channel pattern breakout, and currently the Nifty price is forming an inverted head and shoulder pattern, which breakout levels is 25,300 or 25,350. So either we can plan to accumulate from 25,000 to 24,800, or let market to cross 25,350, then we can have a decisive move. Until we are in the range only 25,000 to 25,300. Within this range, you can go long stock specific, but on index specific, until and unless market is not breaking down this range, we are not going to expect any such kind of a big move. And of course, everyone's keeping eye on the budget. Coming to the Bank Nifty is fairly strong than the Nifty. As Nifty is trading near its 200 days moving average, where the Bank Nifty is just closed below its 50 days moving average 2 days back, and now it is again back above the 50 days moving average, as well as it's trading above its 50 and 100 days moving average, or 200 days moving average also. So Bank Nifty is fairly strong. The selective stocks from the banks like Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, SBI Bank looks very good. So the stock specific movement will remain continue. For index, as I mentioned, Bank Nifty looks strong. And coming to the Nifty, 25,000 to 25,300 is the range. Either side range breakout going to be a decisive range. Our sense is saying buy on dip would be the preferred strategy, with the strict stop loss below 24,800.
9:40, ladies and gentlemen. At this point of time, you have some intense bout of profit booking coming into the market. The early morning bounce in metals, my apologies, in the PSU defense pack seems to be easing a bit. Nothing to be worried about though. In terms of top losers, you have SBI Life 2% lower, 2008. Indigo slipping 2% lower, 46.51. Dr. Reddy's, Asian Paints, Hindustan Unilever, large parts of tech. Tech is in pain at this moment. The IT index slipping to 38,200 and 38,120. Weakness in Infosys, TCS, L&T, Mindtree, and of course the current favorite Tech Mahindra. So that's the state of play at this point of time, ladies and gentlemen. Rallies in metals, banks, but broader markets are slipping. Aabha.
They definitely are down about 100 points now on the index as well. Metals continue to be top of mind. Now, Kiran, within the metals pack and on the back of gold, we're also this morning seeing the likes of Muthoot, etc., moving as well. What are some of your key picks on the back of course, the entire rally we're seeing on silver and gold?
See, if we look at the silver and gold rally, I categorically remember, and I believe Shailji also acknowledged this, that Hindustan Zinc, we have discussed this stock starting of the last year. When we are discussing 2025 year, the peak of the year, and we discuss about the silver, that silver looks very much promising and one can go long on Hindustan Zinc. Hindustan Zinc from 450 level, it went up to 550 level. Then the interim dividend, the special dividend came. It fell back to the 440, 450 level, and from that now it is trading at 700 level. No doubt. Let's not discuss about the silver rally, but that stock we have discussed last year. In 1 year, we can see there is a 2x return on Hindustan Zinc. Now at current market price, it's look a little bit, of course, a high risky trade. But looking at technical chart pattern, there is a long, a big rounding bottom pattern breakout on monthly or even a weekly chart pattern. So based on that, this rally can continue. But buy on dips would be the preferred strategy. We have seen that 650, 640 was the traditional resistance. So keeping in mind that any dips toward 680, 660 would be the great opportunity to accumulate. Keep a strict stop loss below 640. And looking at overall technical chart structure, we can definitely expect 900 or maybe 1000 kind of a rally on Hindustan Zinc. So Hindustan Zinc is still our preferred stock. Definitely one can go long, but looks a little bit high risky. So buy on dips would be the strategy.
$942, ladies and gentlemen. Vedanta 755. That's pushing it to a fresh high. Remember, there is the demerger due. Each share will lead into 6 separate companies, and this stock has also gone in from 250 to 750 in a span of 1.5 years. Very strong breakout happening on State Bank of India, and that's also to do with the rebalancing of the Nifty bank in particular, where weightages from HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank are shifting towards SBI, and that's the reason why you see this stunning rally that's happening on State Bank of India. In the beginning of the month, SBI was 963, now 1069, and that's the breakout that's happening. In September, SBI was at 803 and now 1069. Kiranji, a view on SBI, and I do acknowledge the wonderful long trade that you suggested on Hindustan Zinc. SBI for you.
Yes. So thank you, Shelji. Now coming to the SBI, definitely the chart patterns looks in overbought zone. But if you look at the monthly and weekly setup, it is again giving a fresh breakout from those particular long-term chart pattern. So definitely one can hold this particular stock, but for the fresh buying, we should suggest wait for the dip, as there is a flag pattern breakout given at somewhere around 990 to 1000 rupees. So any dips towards 1000, 1020 would be the great opportunity to accumulate. So anyone is holding this particular stock, we suggest keep holding at least for next 6 to 8 months, and we can expect price target of 1200 kind of based on the chart patterns on daily price and the flag pattern. And for that, the stock price should keep holding 950, 960 level. So with the strict stop loss of 960, 950, buy on dips would be the strategy for the SBI for the target of 1200 based on the monthly and the weekly chart pattern breakout.
Okay, I think we'll leave it there this morning, but we'll be back with more updates for you soon. Kiran, thanks so much for joining us and for taking us some of your top trades and strategies. Always good chatting with you. Slow start to trade, but nothing drastic, down about 0.5%, but broader markets also looking quiet. We'll be back in a few minutes for more updates. Thanks for watching.